Hey guys, Artem MMA Analysis here. Unfortunately, I've failed the intro for this video like 4 or 5 times now, but let's get into it. I've got another Dana White's Contender Series 2022 fight for you guys, and it is at heavyweight. I'm very happy that we're going to get another heavyweight fight, because in my opinion, the UFC heavyweight division definitely does need more fighters. If you compare it to like the lightweight division, which has about 70 or 80 fighters on the roster, the heavyweight division only has about 40 fighters on their roster, so I'm very glad to see some heavyweights on the Dana White's Contender Series 2022 roster, and they're going to be fighting each other. So I found out from Sean Bitter, the MMA wizard on Twitter, and he's hearing for Dana White's Contender Series Season 6, a heavyweight fight between BFL champion and Brazilian-based Caio Machado, who is 6-1-1, will fight the Inside Fighters League champ and fellow Brazilian Paulo Renato Jr., who is 10-1 sometime this season. So Sean Bitter's a pretty good source, I would say. He seems to be onto it, and he's definitely been talking about quite a bit more about Dana White's Contender Series, and he knows of quite a few Dana White's Contender Series fighters on the list. So I'm trusting Sean Bitter here, and he's my source. I'm going to give him a little shout out so you guys know I'm not just kind of saying this with nothing, and I'm not going to not give my source a shout out. So let's get into it. Caio Machado, as you guys can see, 6-1-1 record. Paulo Renato Jr., 10-1 record by that. He's 28 years old as Paulo Renato. Caio Machado is 27. I like to see this. We're seeing some young heavyweights in Dana White's Contender Series, and I can tell you, and in fact, I can always guarantee you, straight up, I genuinely believe that the winner of this fight is actually going to be signed to the UFC. The UFC needs heavyweights. Even Dana White said it in the last year. He said that the UFC needs heavyweights, and he will sign them. So I believe that the winner of this fight, if they get a finish, 100% is going to be signed to the UFC. From what I've seen, though, from Caio Machado, 6-1. If he doesn't finish the fight in the first round, it goes to decision. Very strange sort of record. But if you can see, so he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 finishes, and then 1 decision win and then 1 draw in his debut. So as you can kind of see, he finishes his opponent in the first round, or it goes to decision, which was interesting. And he's done all of his fights in this BFL league. He's also the BFL champion as well at heavyweight. I'm not 100% sure which fight it was that he won, but come fight time, I will figure that out for you guys. He's 6-1-1, as you can tell. He's got 4 wins by KO, 1 by submission, and 1 by decision. Paulo Renato Jr., on the other hand, is a decent finisher. He's got 7 wins by KO, 1 by submission, and 2 by decision. As you can tell, kind of just based on how they win their fights, this fight is probably not going to go the distance. I think someone is going to get knocked out on this one, and I'm going to be picking Paulo Renato Jr., just kind of based off what I've seen so far. I like Paulo Renato's level of experience. He's also been fighting for a lot longer. He's a little bit older, but he's only 28 years old, which is young for a heavyweight, and I'm very looking forward to seeing this fight happen. He's the IFL champion. He won that in his last fight against a guy with a losing record. Unfortunately, we haven't seen either guy tested against a high-level opponent, but that's what Dana White's Contender Series is for. Am I expressing concerns that potentially neither of these guys are UFC level? No, I think that either of these guys have proven to be able to beat at least some UFC heavyweights. So I can kind of trust that the UFC is kind of picking the right kind of guys. Paulo Renato Jr. versus Caio Machado. Subscribe if you want to know more about UFC Dana White's Contender Series 2022, as I will be giving you guys updates. You guys know I love Dana White's Contender Series, and I love Dana White's Contender Series a lot. Let's have a look at Dustin Joyson's record, who was potentially, I was 36 years old, but potentially we could be looking at a sign-in for him, but he's signed to 1, so it's not going to happen, is it? Anyway, Caio Machado and Paulo Renato Jr., the winner of this is definitely getting signed to the UFC, no doubt in my mind. And also, later on today, I'm going to be uploading a video of just more fighters that have been added to the Dana White's Contender Series 2022 roster, so I'll let you guys know.